Good morning, students. Upon today we are going to discuss thermal expansion. The part of thermal expansion we are going to discuss is expansion of solids. So in this lecture we will discuss expansion of solids. So first of all, how the solids will expand based on change in temperature. So generally we know that whenever a temperature is given to the solid body, on increasing the temperature, solids, liquids and gases will expand. For example, if we take a wire, if the temperature of a wire is increased, its length will be increases. But generally the expansion of solids is less than the expansion of liquids and gases. So here in a solids the molecules are very nearer to each other and we can say rigidly fixed, so that the expansion is very less. But there are two types of expansion generally we can say. One is isotropic expansion of solids and another one is anisotropic expansion of solids. So this is based on the nature of solid material. If a solid material or a solid body has, if a solid material or a solid body has same physical quantities in all directions, generally we say isotropic expansion. If the physical properties are different in different directions, we will say anisotropic expansion of solids. So here I wrote examples. The examples of isotropic is glass, rock salt and etc. And examples of anisotropic expansion is ice, wood, calcium carbonate, etc. So basically whenever a solid, liquid or gases are heated, they will expand definitely. And here in case of solids we have seen isotropic expansion of solids and anisotropic expansion of solids. First let us discuss this isotropic expansion of solids. Means now whenever a temperature is given to the solid body, the solid will expand uniformly in all directions. Nothing but if a cubical body is heated, its length, breadth and height is increases uniformly in all directions. So that we can say whenever a solid body is heated, there will be a change in length, change in area and change in volume. So based on this change in length, area and volume, we have three types of expansions. Generally linear expansion, areal expansion and cubical expansion. So this is corresponding to change in length, corresponding to change in area, corresponding to change in volume. So now we will discuss this three expansions briefly. So first one is linear expansion. Generally the material which is having a very thin, like a wire, so we can consider there is a change in length. So whenever a wire is heated, or we can say its temperature is increased, its length will be changes. But on what factor the change in length is depends? On what factor the change in length is depend? So generally the change in length is depends on first the change in temperature. How much temperature is increased, how much the wire is heated, due to heating how much its temperature is changed. So we can say the change in length is directly proportional to change in temperature initially. Next, the change in length is also depends on its original length. And here if I take two wires, one is made of steel and another one is copper. both are having the same length and their temperature is increased by same, but the expansion is different, the change in length is different. Again, the change in length here depends on nature of material. It depends on nature of material. Means whenever a temperature of a solid body changes, a particular material, a particular wire which is made up of a material is heated, its change in length depends on L and delta T. But whenever we have different wires, it also depends on the nature of material. So that here we wrote a change in length, or we can say expansion, linear expansion is depends on L alpha delta T. So that delta L is equal to, I wrote L alpha delta T. Here L is the original length, delta L is the change in length, delta T is change in temperature, alpha is coefficient of linear expansion. Now this L is taken to the left side, so that delta L by L is equal to alpha delta T. This delta L by L is nothing but fractional change in length. Matlab, how much length is changed for a particular initial length. So delta L by L. If I want to calculate the percentage change in length, so the percentage change in length is given by delta L by L into 100 is equal to alpha delta T into 100. So from this we can say the percentage change in length is completely depends on nature of material and change in temperature. Nature of material and change in temperature. So this is the linear expansion and how to calculate the change in length. But here I assume that I will consider a wire has a length L1 at T1 degree Celsius and its temperature is changes to T2 degree Celsius. Definitely we know its length changes. For example, its length becomes L2. So at T1 degree Celsius a wire has a length L1 and when its temperature changes to T2 its length becomes L2. Then so here we can write a change in length is equal to initial length into alpha into delta T. So change in length matlab initial final minus initial, so L2 minus L1 is equal to initial into alpha. This delta T is change in temperature. So initial temperature is T1 and final temperature is T2, so that we can write T2 minus T1. So from this we can measure a length of a wire at T2 degree Celsius, that is L2 is equal to L1 into 1 plus alpha delta T. And from this equation we can calculate the coefficient of linear expansion. The coefficient of linear expansion alpha is equal to L2 minus L1 by L1 into T2 minus T1. For example, if I write the units also, the units is per degree Celsius. L2 minus L1 by L1 into T2 minus T1. So it is the ratio of change in length by original length into change in temperature. So we can say the fractional change in length of a wire per the rise of 1 degree Celsius. The fractional change in length of a wire for the rise of 1 degree Celsius. This is the units. So from this formula we can say that this alpha is depends on only nature of material. So the coefficient of linear expansion depends on only its nature of material, but its numerical value will be depends on scale of temperature, because here instead of degree Celsius if I take degree Fahrenheit, so its numerical value changes. And we can say that it is independent of length or the units of length in which it is measured. So finally, once expansion of solids. Every solid body will expand on heating and contract on cooling. So there are two types of expansion, isotropic and anisotropic. If the solid body expand uniformly in all directions, we'll say expansion of isotropic. If it is expand differently in different directions, we'll say anisotropic. Examples are given: glass, rock salt, etc., ice, wood, calcium carbonate, etc. So first of all, we'll see isotropic expansion of solids. In isotropic expansion of solids, we'll say the body will expand uniformly in all directions. As I take a cubical body, so there may be a change in length, change in breadth, and change in height, so that we can say change in volume. If I take a thin plate, so there will be a change in area. If I take a thin wire, there will be a change in length corresponding to temperature. So that whenever solid body is heated, so there may be a linear expansion, areal expansion, and cubical expansion. So first of all, we see linear expansion. In linear expansion, the change in length is depends on initial length, change in temperature, and nature of material. So that delta L is equal to L alpha delta T. So the terms are given here. So this is the percentage change. So if I take initial length is L1 and final length is L2, then the formula will be L2 is equal to L1 into 1 plus alpha delta T. So generally this formula is used to measure the final length at a given temperature. So if I want to measure the alpha value, matlab coefficient of linear expansion, that will be L2 minus L1 by L1 into T2 minus T1 per degree Celsius. So the unit may be degree Celsius, per degree Celsius, or per degree Fahrenheit. You can take any unit of scale, temperature. So alpha depends on nature of material and scale of temperature, independent of length and units of temperature. So you may note down this one. Students, so next we'll discuss areal or superficial expansion. So as we have discussed earlier, linear expansion, here also we can say whenever a solid body is heated, if there is a change in area, so the change in area is depends on again its initial area, change in temperature, and nature of material. So that we can write it is A beta delta T. So this delta A is change in area, this is initial area, and this is the, here beta is the coefficient of areal expansion, coefficient of areal expansion. So from this again we can measure delta A by A, nothing but fractional change in area. It will be beta delta T. And if we want to measure a percentage change in area, it will be beta delta T into 100, as I know. So the terms again same, similar to that of linear expansion. So here now I will say if a plate has area A1 at T1 degree Celsius and A2 at T2 degree Celsius, then suppose I have a thin metal plate. So its area is initially A1, initially is nothing but at T1 degree Celsius, and when its temperature changes to T2, its area becomes A2. Then the formula can be written as delta A is nothing but change in area, final minus initial, is equal to initial area into beta into change in temperature. So we can write T2 minus T1. So from this we can calculate a final temperature that will be, final area, that will be A2 is equal to A1 into 1 plus beta delta T, we can write. Now from this equation we can find out the coefficient of areal expansion beta, and this beta is equal to A2 minus A1 by A1 into T2 minus T1, or you can also write delta T. So the units of beta is also again degree Celsius. The units of beta is also again degree Celsius, because it also depends on only nature of material and it depends on unit of temperature. Again we can say it is independent of area and independent of unit of area in which it is measured. So this is the areal expansion. We have taken change in area, fractional change in area, percentage change in area. Suppose if I say A1 is the area at T1 and A2 is the area at T2, then this is the final area, equation for the final area at T2 degree Celsius, and this is the coefficient of areal expansion, or we can also say superficial expansion. Now we'll discuss the third one, we can say cubical expansion. Cubical expansion. So as we have discussed the two, linear and areal, so this is very simple because everything is similar. Again we can write the change in volume is depends on initial volume, temperature change, and its coefficient of cubical expansion. It is denoted with gamma. So here gamma is the coefficient of cubical expansion. Coefficient of cubical expansion. Now for example, if you want to calculate a fractional volume, so delta V by V is equal to gamma delta T. If we want to measure percentage change in volume, it will be gamma delta T into 100, and if V1 is the volume at T1 degree Celsius and V2 is the volume of a body at T2 degree Celsius, then what happens? So change in volume is equal to initial volume into coefficient of cubical expansion into delta T, so that we can write V2 minus V1 is equal to V1 gamma delta T. Delta T is nothing but we can write T2 minus T1. So that from this we can write equation for final volume. So V2 is equal to V1 into 1 plus gamma delta T. So that from this we can write gamma is equal to change in volume by original volume into change in temperature. That is V2 minus V1 by V1 into T2 minus T1. Again it has the same units per degree Celsius. Again it depends on nature of material and unit of temperature. It is independent of volume and the units of volume in which it is measured. So we have discussed linear expansion, areal expansion and cubical expansion, so that we will derive the relation between alpha, beta, gamma. So first you can note down this one. So we will derive a relation between alpha, beta and gamma. So to derive this relation, I am taking one cubical body so that it has a side length 1 meter. When its temperature is increased by 1 degree Celsius, we can say this cubical body will expand. So there will be a expansion along x, y and z axis. So that we can say there will be a increase in length, area and volume. So that we can say initial length is L1 and final length is L2. Initial area is A1 and final area is A2. Initial volume is V1 and final volume is V2. So here, if alpha, beta, gamma are the coefficient of linear, areal and cubical expansion. So here, first of all, we will write L1 is equal to 1 meter. So area of face is equal to L1 square. So that we can write again 1 meter square. So that the volume of the cube is equal to L1 cube. So we can write 1 meter cube. So after increasing the temperature, the length of the side length of the cube will increases, and that will become L2 is equal to L1 into 1 plus alpha delta T. So now this is L2 final length, L1 is 1 plus alpha delta T is also 1. So from this we can write L2 is equal to how much? 1 plus alpha. L2 becomes 1 plus alpha. And here A2 is equal to L2 already we know. Now I will write A2 is equal to A1 into 1 plus beta delta T. See, A1 is 1 meter square, so that A2 is equal to 1 into 1 plus beta into 1. So that A2 is equal to how much? 1 plus beta. A2 is equal to how much? 1 plus beta. And V2 is equal to, we can write V1 into 1 plus gamma delta T. But here V1 is 1 meter cube, 1 plus gamma delta T is 1, so that we can write V2 is equal to 1 plus gamma. Say this is equation number 1, 2 and this is 3. But as I wrote A1 is equal to L1 square, can I write A2 is equal to L2 square? So definitely. So as A2 is equal to L2 square, so we can write A2 is equal to, L2 is nothing but how much? 1 plus alpha. So that we can write it is 1 plus alpha whole square. As A2 is equal to 1 plus alpha whole square, so A2 will become 1 square A square plus 2AB plus B square. That is 1 plus 2 alpha plus alpha square. Generally, if we assume the expansion of solid, the expansion of solid is very less. So we can say the alpha of the solid body is generally less. If alpha is very less, so alpha square will be negligible. So generally the alpha is in the order of 10 to the power of -5 or -6, so that the alpha square will be neglected. So as alpha square, here alpha square is negligible. As this alpha square is negligible, we can write A2 is equal to 1 plus 2 alpha. So this is equation number 1, 2 and 3. So that this is equation number 4. So now from equations 2 and 4. Observe 2 and 4. What is equation number 2? A2 is equal to 1 plus beta. What is equation number 4? A2 is equal to 1 plus 2 alpha. So that from this 2 equation, we can write beta is equal to 2 alpha. Or we can say in equation number 4, instead of beta, we have 2 alpha. So that beta is equal to 2 alpha. Similarly, as A2 is equal to L2 square, we can write V2 is equal to L2 cube. Nothing but 1 plus alpha whole cube. A plus B whole cube. A cube plus 3A square B plus 3AB square plus B cube. See. A cube plus 3A square B plus 3AB square plus B cube. So again, as we have neglected alpha square, so we can easily neglect alpha cube. So therefore, we can write beta V2 is equal to 1 plus 3 alpha. Say the equation number 5. So from equations 3 and 5, we can write gamma is equal to 3 alpha. Gamma is equal to how much? 3 alpha. So we got a relation between alpha and beta, relation between alpha and gamma. Similarly, we can derive a relation between beta and gamma also. From this two, we can write gamma is equal to, so in place of alpha I will write beta by 2, so that the gamma is equal to 3 by 2 beta. Gamma is equal to 3 by 2 beta. So that the ratio of alpha, beta and gamma is always 1:2:3. Ratio of alpha, beta and gamma is 1:2:3. For the small changes, we can say if a length is increased by 1%, the area will be increased by 2% and volume will be increased by 3%. So this is the relation between alpha, beta and gamma. Okay. So after that, we will discuss some applications based on expansion of solids, as well as we will see variation of density with temperature. So, as I said, we will discuss variation in density of solid body with temperature. So, first of all, I am considering a solid body. Consider a body of mass m. We have a body which has a mass m and volume V1, density ρ1. Mass m, volume V1 and density ρ1 at T1 degree Celsius. Similarly, when temperature changes to T2 degree Celsius. So generally, on changing the temperature, we can say mass remains constant. Mass does not changes. Whenever the temperature changes to T2 degree Celsius, volume and density becomes V2 and ρ2. So therefore we can write the mass of the solid body remains constant, so that we can write m is equal to V1 ρ1 is equal to V2 ρ2. So from this we can write V1 rho 1 is equal to V2 rho 2. As we know, when temperature is changes from T1 to T2, its volume is increases from V1 to V2, and this V2 is equal to V1 into 1 plus gamma delta T. So this is equation number 1 and this is equation number 2. So from equations 1 and 2, we can write V1 rho 1 is equal to, in place of V2 I will write V1 into 1 plus gamma delta T into rho 2. See, V1 gets cancelled, so therefore I will get rho 1 is equal to rho 2 into 1 plus gamma delta T, and rho 2 is equal to rho 1 by 1 plus gamma delta T. So from this relation we can clearly say that whenever temperature increases, the volume of the solid body will increase, but whenever temperature increases, the density will be decreases. As temperature increases, the density will be decreases. So from this equation we can write gamma is equal to rho 1 minus rho 2 by rho 2 into delta T, or we can write T2 minus T1. So here initial density is more and final density is less, so that we wrote rho 1 minus rho 2 by rho 2 into delta T. So this is the variation in density of solid with temperature. For example, here I want to find out change in density or percentage change in density. So here we can see rho 1 minus rho 2 is equal to rho 2 gamma delta T. But generally change in density is nothing but final minus initial, so that we can write change in density is equal to, what we can write, rho 2 minus rho 1 will be equal to minus rho 2 gamma delta T. So if I want to find out a fractional change in density, what? Fractional change in density, so that the fractional change in density will be, what is the fractional change in density? Change in density by original density, or we can say initial density, rho 2 minus rho 1 by rho 1. But rho 2 minus rho 1 is how much? Minus rho 2 gamma delta T by rho 1 is nothing but rho 2 into 1 plus gamma delta T. So that we can write rho 2 into 1 plus gamma delta T. So see, rho 2 cancel, so that we can write a fractional change in density is equal to minus of gamma delta T by 1 plus gamma delta T. From this relation also clearly we can say, as temperature increases, the density or change in density is negative, nothing but it will decreases. So if you want to calculate the percentage change in density, just multiply with 100. So this is the variation in density of solid with respect to temperature. So here you can see the final density of a body is rho 2, and rho 2 is equal to rho 1 by 1 plus gamma T. Generally V2 is equal to what we have? V1 into 1 plus gamma delta T. But here rho 2 is equal to rho 1 by 1 plus gamma delta T. This is the small difference between volume and density. So next we'll see some applications. So next one is a difference in length independent of temperature. So here I am taking two rods of length L1 and another rod of length L2. So when these two rods are heated by same amount of heat, or their temperature is changes by same amount, then I want to keep this change in length, suppose x. Here x will be L2 minus L1. This should be constant. I want to keep x should be constant. L2 minus L1 should be constant. So let us say the coefficient of linear expansion of this rod is alpha 1 and this is alpha 2. So here to keep x constant, how the x will be constant? See, for example, this is the 10 centimeter rod and this is the 15 centimeter rod. The difference will be 5. Here, if I increase the temperature of both the rods by 100 degrees Celsius, for example, the length of first rod becomes 11 and the length of second rod becomes 16. Again, the difference is 5 centimeter only. 16 minus 11. It is nothing but whenever the two rods are expanded by the same, the expansion of two rods are same, then this length, difference in length becomes constant. Become constant is nothing but independent of temperature. That means whatever the change in temperature, so there is no change, or the change in length is independent of temperature. So that here this x is equal to L2 minus L1, it should be constant, so that to keep x constant or difference is constant, delta L1 should be equal to delta L2. When this delta L1, expansion in the first rod is equal to expansion in the second rod, the difference will be constant. Expansion in the first rod is nothing but L1 alpha 1 delta T, and expansion in the second rod is L2 alpha 2 delta T. Here both side I wrote delta T because I said for the same rise of temperature, so that this one gets cancelled. So L1 alpha 1 is equal to L2 alpha 2. So for the combination of two rods which obey the relation L1 alpha 1 is equal to L2 alpha 2, their difference in length is always constant. So from again I want to measure L1 and L2. If I know the change in length and alpha 1 and alpha 2, from this equation we will find out. So here L1 alpha 1 is equal to L2 alpha 2 and L2 minus L1 is equal to how much? X. So from this equation you can write L2 is equal to L1 plus X. L1 plus X. Therefore, L1 alpha 1 is equal to, in place of L2 I will write L1 plus X into alpha 2. So now it will become L1 alpha 1 is equal to L1 alpha 2 plus alpha 2 X. What I want to calculate L1, so that I can write, so when it's taken to the left, L1 becomes constant, so L1 into alpha 1 minus alpha 2 is equal to alpha 2x, so that L1 is equal to alpha 2x by alpha 1 minus alpha 2. Similarly, we can write the formula for L2, and this L2 is equal to alpha 1x by alpha 1 minus alpha 2. So this is the difference in length independent of temperature when the condition L1 alpha 1 is equal to L2 alpha 2. So the expansion of both the rods should be equal to keep the difference in length is independent of temperature. So now, so we have seen this is a expansion of isotropic solids. Now we see expansion of anisotropic solids. The expansion of anisotropic solids. So in isotropic solids, we have said that the expansion is uniform in all directions, but in anisotropic expansion, the expansion is different in different direction. For example, if a cubical body is taken, the coefficient of linear expansion along x, y and z axis are different. The coefficient of linear expansion along x, y and z axis are different. So we can say the cubical expansion is nothing but change in length, change in breadth and change in height. So that here the change in length is corresponding to suppose x-axis, change in breadth is corresponding to y-axis and change in height is corresponding to z-axis. So that the gamma will be alpha x plus alpha y plus alpha z. Here alpha x is the coefficient of linear expansion along x direction, alpha y is along y direction and alpha z is along z direction. So that as we know gamma is equal to 3 alpha, so we can say average coefficient of linear expansion, or we can find out beta. So beta is equal to generally 2 by 3 of gamma, so that it will be 2 by 3 of alpha x plus alpha y plus alpha z. So this is the expansion of anisotropic solids. Okay. So in expansion of anisotropic solids, expansion is different along x-axis, y-axis and z-axis. If the coefficient of linear expansion along x, y and z are alpha x, alpha y and alpha z, then the coefficient of cubical expansion is given by gamma and coefficient of areal expansion is given by beta, so that the gamma is equal to alpha x plus alpha y plus alpha z.